Supervisor Paloma Aguirre is calling on California Governor Gavin Newsom to declare a state of emergency in the Tijuana River Valley.
La Mesa police say they were met today with Molotov cocktails. The woman inside is now accused of starting 2 fires and barricading herself for hours.
President Trump hints another round of talks with Iran could happen in the coming days. The latest on negotiations and what the U.S. military is saying about the Strait of Hormuz.
Crumbling cliffs along the ocean here in La Jolla's Bird Rock neighborhood. I'll tell you where the latest seawall project stands tonight.
Shutting it down, all lanes in both directions. The major project affecting the 805 freeway and which weekends will be impacted.
Right now, a woman who police say threatened to burn down her La Mesa condo complex is in custody. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Marcella Lee.
I'm Carlo Cicchetto. It took a SWAT team, crisis negotiators, smoke and flames to finally get her out after being barricaded inside for 4 hours. News 8's Jenny Day joins us live from the scene on Earl Street with details. Jenny?
Yeah, so this does remain an active crime scene, though it has calmed down a little bit. There were several police cruisers, sheriff's deputies, fire engines, ambulances, and just countless concerned neighbors who just wanted to know what was happening after they had been evacuated from their homes. They tell us, police say that the suspect did ultimately light another fire inside of her unit and then was forced to come out on her own because of smoke inhalation. Again, that was around 4 o'clock. It all started around 11 o'clock this morning. 39-year-old Emily Gibson can be seen on the ground, covered in soot, suffering again from smoke inhalation. She was taken to the hospital and is now ultimately set to be charged with arson and making criminal threats. La Mesa police say again at 11 o'clock this morning, they had been asked by Grossmont Village management to assist maintenance, really help preserve the peace as they cleaned up graffiti swastikas that had been drawn on her walls and doors. They say they have been called here several times just in the past few weeks for this tenant. When police showed up, they say that she had at least 2 homemade Molotov cocktails ready right next to a propane tank. They say she lit one, threatened to burn the place down, and locked herself inside. Crisis negotiators say she never responded. Hours later, though, police say she set something else on fire inside her bedroom and ultimately came out on her own.
When we got here, we saw the tenant on a back patio, and she immediately, when the officers approached her, began lighting stuff on the ground next to a propane tank. The officers attempted to make contact with her and noticed that she had a couple of incendiary devices. If there's mental health issues going on, then we will address those mental health issues, but we're also going to hold her accountable for the crime she committed.
Yeah, neighbors did also share several stories with us. You will hear from them tonight at 7. They are all just ultimately glad that this ended somewhat peacefully, and now this woman can hopefully get the help that she needs. We are told that the fire did not spread to other units, but again, a lot of the Heartland Fire Department does still remain here at the scene cleaning up. We saw smoke just billowing out of the roof. And again, she is now facing 2 charges tonight. Guys, back to you.
All right, thanks, Jenny. Right now, County Supervisor Paloma Aguirre is calling on Governor Gavin Newsom to declare a state of emergency in the Tijuana River Valley.
News 8 went down to the South Bay today to see the state of the pollution crisis firsthand. Our Alex Cheney joins us live from Imperial Beach with more on that new data being shared. Alex?
Yeah, Marcella, that's exactly right. This new call from Supervisor Aguirre comes from data that shows that the amount of hydrogen sulfide that's in the air, which is a toxic gas, that's what creates that rotten egg smell. The amount of it in the air far exceeds the amount allowed by the health state standard.
The voices of my community are not being believed.
County Supervisor and former Imperial Beach Mayor Paloma Aguirre says new research from the San Diego County Air Pollution Control District shows the amount of hydrogen sulfide in the air around the South Bay is consistently around 750 parts per billion. The state standard is only 30.
Well, then let's back it up with data. See if that's another tool that we can use to get the attention of our governor and our president.
We took a trip to Saturn Avenue, where a river of sewage runoff makes the air toxic to breathe.
If it smells like a mixture of urine, petting zoo, and porta potty.
The river runoff creates a cascade effect onto rocks that release the toxic gas into the air. Aguirre says a new county plan will mitigate the river.
So we're going to put an extended pipe that's going to be 100% covered to ensure that the flows of the river do not shoot out into the air.
And there are several schools in the South Bay Unified School District that implement a rainy day schedule and cancel recess if the toxins in the air are too high.
Like, kids want to go out and play and run around and feel safe. And you know, you can decide to not go to the beach because it's polluted, but you can't stop breathing.
In a statement from Governor Newsom's office to CBS 8, a spokesperson said this is an international issue under the jurisdiction of the federal government, not the state, and went on to mention the $38 million already given to Tijuana River Valley projects and said they will work with the federal government. Aguirre says that's not enough.
Saying that this is an international issue that falls under federal jurisdiction is a cop-out. We have Californians right now suffering that need immediate help.
Supervisor Aguirre also has an online petition that you can sign to put more pressure on Governor Gavin Newsom. Reporting live from Imperial Beach, I'm Alex Cheney. Back over to you.
Thanks, Alex. Just hours ago, we learned that Governor Newsom has declared a special election to fill the House seat that vacated by former Representative Eric Swalwell.
That election will take place Tuesday, August 18th. Swalwell's resignation took effect earlier this afternoon and came after multiple women accused him of sexual assault. Tonight, we are hearing from some of those women. Two of them spoke exclusively with CBS News, while another accuser came forward with stunning allegations that date back to 2018. In that CBS interview, two of the accusers say that Swalwell sexually harassed or pursued them early in their professional careers.
He invited me to a hotel to meet him. It was very clear what the connotation was. At that point, I completely stopped responding. One night he was on a trip and he was laying in his hotel room bed, and then he sent me a photo of his penis.
Another woman came forward today with allegations about an assault from 2018. She believes that Swalwell drugged her glass of wine before raping her at a hotel in Southern California.
He raped me, and he choked me. And while he was choking me, I lost consciousness. And I thought I died.
In the wake of these accusations, Swalwell officially resigned from Congress earlier this afternoon. In a letter read on the House floor, Swalwell says he will fight the serious false allegations made against him, but said he must take responsibility and ownership for the mistakes that he did make. Some of the remaining gubernatorial candidates met for a forum hosted by the California Hispanic Chambers of Commerce.
News 8 State Matters political reporter Jenny Huh has reaction from candidates.
Elephant in the room was Swalwell's dropping out of the race. We spoke to the remaining candidates to see how they think that shifts the dynamic of the race. Already there's a lot more mudslinging among the candidates. We want to know Republican Chad Bianco and Democrats Katie Porter and Tony Thurmond were not at the earlier forum.
Well, this race is wide open.
A restart, a reset, and I think this is where all of us are going to be putting our best foot forward now.
Following former California Congressman and gubernatorial candidate Eric Swalwell's campaign suspension, the remaining 9 candidates, 7 Democrats, 2 Republicans, hoping to seize the moment, some taking direct jabs at others for having quote-unquote baggage. Are you saying, Mr. Mayor, that the Democrats need to consolidate behind a candidate that doesn't have baggage?
The candidates need to consolidate around a candidate that doesn't have a scandal.
I am the only candidate in this race without significant personal baggage.
Candidates mentioning former U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary and California Attorney General Javier Becerra, who was brought up in the federal indictment of Governor Gavin Newsom's former chief of staff, not accused of wrongdoing, but unknowingly had funds from a dormant campaign account siphoned to some of his closest allies. To which he responded,
"We're still a month and a half from the election, and sleaze politics doesn't have a place." That sounds more like the MAGA talking points.
And billionaire and climate activist Tom Steyer Dyer, recently in the spotlight for formerly investing into a private prison company. He responded,
"You know, my whole job on this is not to be a pundit and think about the race. My job is to do exactly what I said, which is to see as many Californians face to face, listen to their story, and make sure I'm talking about them and the issues that confront them."
On the Republican side, former Fox News host Steve Hilton says,
"We were leading the race before Eric Swalwell's decision. We were leading the race before President Trump's decision to endorse me, and I'm expecting now our lead to grow."
When asked if he fears Democrats could consolidate behind a candidate now with Swalwell's exit, Hilton remaining confident.
How is it possible, if you look at the facts of what they've done, for a Democrat to plausibly ask for 4 more years?
Getting ready to put out our first paid ad. We're still just introducing me to the state of California. You know, my opponents have name ID.
Groups and unions that have endorsed Swalwell in the past but have withdrawn their endorsement, are you hearing from any of those organizations?
Look, we're hearing from everybody. Honestly,
including those folks?
We are hearing from everybody.
I have some fuel in my tank these days.
I've been an open book. I don't hide anything. Anybody can say that I've been in a scandal.
I think people now need to take a second look at all the candidates.
Another scandal that happened earlier on was involving former Congresswoman Katie Porter and videos that showed controversial treatment of her staffers. Both Porter and fellow Democratic candidate Tony Thurmond will be at another evening candidate forum here in Sacramento. So we are working to speak with them both on their thoughts about the new dynamics of the gubernatorial race. In Sacramento, Jenny Huh, News 8.
Thanks, Jenny. It has been more than a year since we first told you about a crumbling bluff putting homes at risk in La Jolla's Bird Rock neighborhood.
Working for you, we have an update on a proposed seawall project there. Brian White joins us live from La Jolla. And Brian, what have you learned today?
Yeah, right now I'm standing on the cliff next to these homes. You can see the signs warning of danger, warning to stay back from the unstable cliffs here that have been eroding steadily underneath these homes. Crews tearing out part of the back patio here at one of the homes on Calumet Avenue. I spoke with the homeowner who says the erosion forced this work, and now she's hoping to be included in the proposed seawall project next door.
Erosion is a real issue.
Neighbor Greg Denoris says his home is going to need similar seawall protection soon.
It's going to have to be considered in a year or 2 or 3.
His wife Ryoko says she's also worried about what's happening below.
My main concern is the people down below. Here in this park, that there are so many people coming and look around and so on. Children walking around, we see all the time.
So I reached out to the city of San Diego for an update on that proposed seawall behind one of the homes here that would be paid for by the homeowner. They tell me grading and building permits are now in the final stages of approval, clearing a major step forward. But because this sits along a sensitive stretch of coastline, the project also needs the California Coastal Commission to sign off on it. I reached out to them to see if that approval has come through yet and have not heard back.
Everybody knows how strong ocean waves are. They come up, they beat against that cliff.
I caught up with Dr. Pat Abbott, a geology professor emeritus at San Diego State. He says this kind of erosion is expected along this stretch of coastline.
When we look at many of the homes along the San Diego coastline, many of them are built way too close to the cliff edges. And some of these cliffs are like vertical. They're vertical cliffs, and you're not only up to the edge, even hanging over the edge of the cliffs in places. That's not sustainable.
And I was unable to reach the homeowner here, but 2 doors down where you saw that patio work being done, the homeowner there says she heard that the seawall construction should start in mid-May and go through September. But of course, I've been unable to verify that timeline yet with the city. Working for you in La Jolla, I'm Brian White, News 8.
We'll continue to follow those repairs and building of that seawall. Thank you, Brian. And remember, if there's something you'd like us to look into happening in your community or neighborhood, perhaps email us at workingforyou@cbs8.com.
A new report says the cost of raising a child in California made a big jump from last year.
More on where California ranks among all U.S. states coming up next.
And could this design be coming to an airplane near you? The reaction from travelers at San Diego International Airport still ahead.
A lot less with the passing clouds for today. Storm system has exited out. We're looking at a lot more sunshine that's in our forecast and a little bit warmer by tomorrow with a lot more cloud cover returning on Thursday. I'll explain why coming up.